Welcome to Meeple Mentor. I'm Jared, and we are about to play Coffee Roaster. Let's take a look. I'll show you how. Feel free to pause the video as needed to follow along with your copy of the game. To help you learn the game, I've added chapter timestamps in the description to the different sections of the tutorial to easily recap relevant rules for you. I'll be teaching the second edition, the most current version of the game. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell below the video so you don't miss any of my latest content. Coffee Roaster is one of the best solo games out there and has you trying to make the best coffee roast possible. Choose a variety of coffee beans to roast by putting those tokens into your bag. Draw tokens from your bag each turn to advance the roast level. At the end, you'll do a cup testing to check the taste of your coffee and score points. There's an optimal roast taste for each variety in the game, which you can play through multiple times. Log your scores to do better each time. Regardless of if you drink coffee, this is a strong cup of fun. Let's look at how to set it up. To start setting up, put the large roast board on the table in front of you showing the standard side. It has this double icon in the corner. Put the thermostat and roast counter board above it with the same double icon shown. If you want a simplified, faster, and easier version of the game, you can flip these over to the light sides. Put the cup testing board to the right so it fits into the notch of the roast board. Put the roast marker at space 0 of the roast counter track. Gather and mix up the 5 cup effect tokens and put them on the 5 marked spaces for them, then flip them face up. Place the wild flavor token on the empty oval space here. Look at the thermostat at the top where the smoke icons are. Place a number of smoke tokens on those red spaces as shown in the icons. The standard side will have 2 and 3 placed out respectively. Now you'll select a kind of coffee to roast or determine if you want to do a full roast challenge. For your first game, choose a single coffee card. The Roman numeral 2 and 3 coffee cards are generally increased difficulties. The label on the sides also indicate their difficulty levels. There are 3 levels of coffees used to create a roast challenge. A roast challenge is where you select 3 coffees to roast sequentially. I'll explain the challenge in further detail later. Now look at the coffee card chosen and take all the tokens from the box that are shown in the contents list. Put them face up in front of you. These will all go in the cloth bag unless playing the light side of the board, the easy game. For the simpler game, pull out 1 flavor token of each type from the pool in front of you: body, acidity, aroma. Put them at the top left of your board. They'll be available during your game from the start as if you'd just drawn them. Then put the rest of the tokens in the cloth bag. You'll now put the round marker on the thermostat on the space matching the number of moisture tokens provided for the coffee card setup. So if it has 3 or 4 moisture tokens, place the round marker at space 8. Take the player aid card and keep it near you to help follow along with the roast and cup testing phases. You're now set up and ready to play. A game of Coffee Roaster proceeds through 2 phases. The roasting phase comes first, which takes place over a series of rounds where you draw tokens from the bag and use abilities and effects. After all roasting is complete, the final phase of the game is the cup testing. The cup testing phase is where you really calculate your points to see how your roast ended up. You'll draw tokens out of your bag to fill all 10 spaces of your coffee cup. The composition, roast values, and cup effects in your cup will all determine how well you did roasting that cup of coffee. The first step of a roasting round is to increase the temperature. Don't do it on round 1 though. The disc on the thermostat board would advance 1 space to the right and determines how many tokens are drawn that round. It also determines to what level the coffee beans are roasted and whether or not smoke tokens are added to the bag. When moving the disc on a space with smoke tokens, put them in the bag. Next, you'll draw tokens from the bag equal to the large number below the temperature disc. Mix up the tokens in the bag and start drawing randomly. Put them face up in front of you. Next, if you've drawn any moisture tokens, they are removed from the game. To help you get a better idea of what may still be in the bag, it's recommended to keep the removed tokens on the coffee card. After removing all the moisture, you may optionally use tokens for effects. If you choose not to use the colored flavor tokens for an effect, put them back in the cloth bag at the end of the round. When doing effects, you must resolve all immediate effects before placing them on the right side to activate their flavor effects. The immediate effects are shown on the left of the board. By placing a red body token on the first effect space here, you do the ability next to it. Putting a blue aroma token on the third effect space does the shown effect to its right. Any color flavor token can be placed on spaces 2 and 4 to trigger those adjacent effects. Any and all can be used in a single round, but those placed tokens stay there the rest of the game, meaning those immediate effect abilities can only be triggered once per game. The wild token can be earned by placing a level 0 and level 1 bean on the empty spaces next to it. Those sit there the rest of the game as well, and could be added from different rounds to eventually get it. The wild token can be used for any one flavor type. The first immediate effect is to draw 2 additional tokens from your bag. Add them to your already drawn tokens in front of you. Moisture will of course get removed after drawn. If you don't have 2 tokens in the bag, you can't activate this one. The second effect is to choose 2 of the tokens you've already drawn and put them back in the bag. Then, after mixing up the bag thoroughly, draw 2 more. The third effect is to draw 5 from the bag, if you have at least 5 in the bag, and choose 2 to remove from the game. The other 3 must go back in the bag. The last effect possible is to remove all smoke, burned beans, and defective beans from the game from the ones you've drawn. After placing any tokens to take immediate effects, you will be able to place unused flavor tokens drawn into the cup effects side of your board and do their specific flavor effect. You have to be able to place the flavor token into a matching color spot on the right to use its ability. There are 4 wild spots that can hold any color token. The red body flavor token has the concentration flavor effect when placed in the valid spaces on the right. Place the token on a valid space to combine 2 bean tokens drawn into 1 by adding their roast levels. Remove the 2 bean tokens from the game and replace it with the higher valued bean from the box. Put the new one directly into your cloth bag. Remember that value 4 is the highest bean token possible. The green acidity token has the preservation flavor effect when placed. Put exactly 2 bean tokens drawn back into the cloth bag as is. This is a way to prevent roasting a bean that would end up burnt. The hard beans, defective beans, and burned beans cannot be preserved with this effect. The blue aroma tokens provide the dispersion flavor effect when placed. Choose a bean with a value 2, 3, or 4 to split into 2 bean tokens whose value adds up to it. For example, you can remove a value 3 bean token from the game to gain a value 1 and value 2 bean, which goes directly into the cloth bag. After resolving the flavor token's effect, if the row it's placed in is full, you get to gain the cup effect tile to the right. I'll explain those in detail when I go over the cup testing phase. The next step of the round is to roast the bean tokens in front of you. Each of the bean tokens increases in value by 1 step. When increasing their value, replace them with the next higher valued bean from the box. Put the new one in the bag and the previous one in the box. Start with the highest valued beans and go downwards, making the exchanges. The roast level 4 beans turn into burned beans, which could end up subtracting points from your score if they end up in your coffee cup. The hard beans become a roast level 0 bean and no longer would count as negative points. If you're in a red zone round, your beans roast twice, meaning they improve 2 times, so those value 3 beans can end up burning. However, the hard beans can never increase more than once. They only ever roast into a level 0 bean. Put all the remaining unused tokens back into the bag to clean up the round. If you want to keep track of how much you've roasted the beans in the bag, you can use the cube on the roast counter track. If you roasted 5 beans 1 time each, then your roast level goes up 5, for example. Don't forget to move it back 4 spaces when you burn a level 4 bean. This concludes a roasting round. You can now choose to proceed to the cup testing phase, or keep roasting. If you keep roasting, start again with the first step of advancing the temperature. If you're at the end of the thermometer, you can't roast anymore, and you must proceed to the cup testing phase. Once you feel you're satisfied with what beans and tokens are in your bag, and you are done with the roasting process, you will proceed to the cup testing phase. Draw 1 token from the bag at a time, and decide then whether to put it in your cup or into the cardboard tray. By default, you'll have 3 spaces available in the tray to set tokens aside instead of putting them in the cup. Tokens in the tray don't score. One of the cup effect tiles you can gain is the extended cardboard tray. When gained during the roast phase, place the tile on its target space at the bottom right of the roast board. This lets you set aside even more tokens drawn from the bag if you need to. When drawing a new token and there are no more empty spaces on the trays to set them aside, they must be put into your cup. New tokens are added to the cup on empty spaces starting at the top and doing each row left to right. The last space to be filled is the one at the bottom with the 5 small X's. Should you draw moisture tokens, remove them from the game and keep drawing. They will never occupy a space in the cup. Tokens added to your cup never move and can only sit on empty spaces. Some spaces could already be occupied with cup effect tiles gained earlier. There are 10 total spaces that could fit tokens. 2 of the cup effect tiles have their own spots that don't occupy a token space. The extra bean cup effect tile is placed on the target space in the cup when gained during the roasting phase. With it placed there, you won't put a token from your bag in that spot. The bean tile itself adds 3 to your coffee's roast value. The sweetness tile will be placed on its space in the cup as well once earned during the roasting phase. It occupies that spot and you won't need to place a token there from your bag. Some coffee cards require you to have the sweetness cup effect to get flavor points. If not required, having it counts as any one flavor token you might be missing in completing a coffee card. The cup effect tile known as Selection is placed on the cup testing board when earned and applies to the 2 spaces to the left of it. When this tile is here during the cup testing phase, draw 2 tokens for each of the 2 spaces and select one to put in the cup and the second to go into the cloth bag. When drawing moisture, remove it immediately and keep drawing to get 2 tokens. The exchange cup effect tile is placed at the bottom right of the coffee cup board. It's optional to carry out when doing cup testing, but if you choose to do it, follow these steps after all 10 spaces are occupied. Select 2 tokens in the cup to return to the cloth bag. Then mix the bag thoroughly and draw 3 tokens. Pick 2 of the 3 drawn to replace the empty spots. If drawing moisture, remove it immediately and keep drawing to get 3 to choose from. Once all of the 10 spaces in the cup are filled, you'll move on to scoring. Grab the player aid card and flip it to the scoring overview side. First, you'll add up all the bean token values in the cup, including the extra bean cup effect tile if there. This gives you your total roast level. The roast point scale of the current coffee card shows how many points you get for your result. The number below the stars is the points earned. If your roast level isn't within the range shown on the card, you don't get any roast points for it. Jot down your points on the score pad. Next, flavor points are tallied for the flavor tokens found in your cup. The shown flavor tokens or sweetness tile present on the card are the only ones considered when scoring. The wild flavor token in your cup can substitute for any one flavor token. If the card doesn't ask for the sweetness cup effect, you could use that tile to be any flavor token needed. You'll score points based on how many flavor matches are made. For 1 flavor token matched, get 1 point. For 2 tokens matched, get 3 points. For 3 matches, 6 points. And for 4 matches, 10 points. If the coffee card shows only 3 flavor tokens possible, the most flavor points you could score would be 6 points. Extra flavors don't add to your points. Now you can gain skill points for sets of 3 or more bean tokens of the same value. For 3 tokens with the same roast level, you get a point. For 4 tokens of the same value, you get 2 points. 5 tokens, 3 points, 6 tokens, 4 points, and 7 or more tokens, 5 points. Log your skill points on the score pad. Now you'll add up the negative points earned for what's in your cup. The hard bean, burned bean, and smoked token each give you 1 minus point. A defective bean is minus 2 points. If you don't have any matching flavor in your cup at all, you lose 3 points. If any spaces in your cup are empty, you lose 5 points for each one. Log the negative total on your score pad and do the math to count up your total score. Play again to try to score more on the same cup. You could end your play there or proceed to a full roast challenge. This means you'll roast 3 cups and see how you do. To end the current roast, start by removing all leftover tokens from the boards, emptying the cloth bag, and returning these tokens to the box. Reset the thermostat board by placing the smoke tokens on their spots and the wild flavor token on its empty space. There are 22 coffee cards divided into 3 roast levels. light brown, middle brown, and dark brown, and also noted by Roman numerals 1, 2, and 3. They are further divided into difficulty levels: beginner, moderate, and expert. In a roast challenge, you'll go from level 1 to level 2 and level 3. For your next game, you need to meet a certain score to advance to a higher difficulty roast. If you've scored 9 or less, continue with the beginner difficulty roasts in the next level. With a score of 10 to 14, you can move up to a moderate difficulty in your next roast. Or if you scored 15 or more, go to the expert difficulty in your next roast. At the end of the 3 roasts, total your score from all 3 and check your roast ranking based on the chart in the rulebook. There's the apprentice, assistant, journeyman, mid-level, chief roaster, and more. The game includes an expert difficulty starting card for level 1, but you have to earn it. In a roast challenge, you must have earned at least a mid-level roaster title before you can start with the expert level 1 coffee card. Keep the rulebook handy and check BoardGameGeek.com for FAQs and extra content. The Meeple Mentor channel is now part of the board game community, the Gateway Network, made up of great upcoming board game content creators. The network includes Instagrammers, podcasters, YouTubers, artists, and more. Head to thegatewaynetwork.com to support new and independent board gamers. Thank you for watching this tutorial. Like and subscribe if you found this teaching helpful. Stick around to watch another Learn to Play video. And remember, teach when you can, but always be learning. See you next time.